Hello, and welcome back. It's puzzle time again with Sudoku Sleuth. Now, if you've watched the last video, this is my second attempt at recording this, and the plan for today's puzzle solves is essentially three 6x6 Sudoku puzzles. Now, I explained in the last video that my first attempt at recording this was almost comical because as I was trying to step through each of the puzzles, I was essentially explaining the rules for puzzle 2, but the screen was still showing puzzle 1. And essentially, I recorded the explanations for all three puzzles, started thinking about solving puzzle 1 and realized my mistake, stopped the video, and I thought, I'm just going to try this another day. So hopefully this second attempt will be more successful. Now, the idea for today is I've come across quite a backlog now of 6x6 Sudoku puzzles. And having featured one on the channel before, it really didn't feel that satisfactory to me. It's almost like I need a 20 to 30-minute puzzle to scratch that Sudoku itch for the day. And if a 6x6 puzzle only lasts 5 or 6 minutes, it just feels almost like I'm missing something for the rest of the day. So what I've done here is I've collated 3 puzzles that I think on aggregate will take me 30 minutes. Famous last words, as you probably see at the bottom, that this is an hour-long video and you wonder what happened. But fingers crossed that will not be the case here today. So, essentially, we'll take a look at the rules in a second. And anything else I want to mention before I do so? Well, that's probably it. Let's take a look at the first puzzle. So, we first have Toe Tactics by Chameleon. Now, notice here, it doesn't say normal Sudoku rules apply. It says normal Latin square rules apply. So we need to place the digits 1 through to 6 in every row and every column, but there are no grids in today's puzzle, either vertically or horizontal 6x6 ones. What else do we have? Normal arrow rules apply, so digits on the arrow, such as this extremely lengthy one, must sum up to the digit in the circle, which would be that one. What else do we have? Digits on the arrow may repeat if allowed by other rules. Last rule we have is by no diagonal stripe of 3 repeated digits is allowed. So, for example, this couldn't be all ones because that would mean we're repeating 3 lots of ones on a diagonal, and that's not going to be allowed under today's rules. So that's puzzle 1. Puzzle 2 we have is Doots and Some Blue by Sandra and Nala. We featured Sandra and Nala before. If I can remember later on when I'm uploading the video, I'll link to that puzzle where we were essentially looking for Nala's toy that was lost in the fog out there. Really phenomenal puzzle, and I think it's the first time we featured a fog puzzle on the channel. So what do we have for the rules for this one? So we've got normal 6x6 Sudoku rules apply, so that means the digits 1 to 6 in every row, every column. And this time we actually have boxes, although notice they're not really boxes, it's more like rectangles. I guess the nature of 6x6. Now, blue lines are region sum lines. For each line, digits on the line have an equal sum of n within each box it passes through. It also says there are 4 lines that cross another line in this puzzle. They are to be treated as independent lines. So I think let's just first start with a simple one. So we've got this 2-cell line. It basically really in this case says this cell is the same as that cell. Now what it's saying by it crosses 4 other lines, I'm guessing it's really referring to these 3 cell lines where they are clearly crossing 4 times line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and it's just trying to make sure that it's disambiguating that, it's not sort of doing a 90-degree turn, for example. We also have cells separated by a black crop key dot are in a 1:2 ratio. We've got 2 of them here. So if this is a 1, this will be a 2. If that's a 3, this will be a 6. We cannot place 5 on any of these because this will be 2.5 or 10, neither of which is allowed under today's rules. We also have a white consecutive digit, which means if this is 3, this is either 2 or 4. Now, doots, I don't think we've featured them before on the channel, are essentially these 2 ellipses, a black one and a white one. And what it means here is essentially these two cells sum up to some number x, these two cells sum up to some number y, and x has a 2 to 1 or 1 to 2 ratio to y. And same rule applies here, A and B, C and D. Now the sum of these two are essentially one digit away from the sum of these two cells. So looking forward to this puzzle. Now let's take a look at puzzle 3. And puzzle 3 seems to have quite a bit to go on here. So normal Sudoku rules apply. We've got digits 1 to 6 in every row, every column, and indeed every box. Cells separated by an orange dot differ by the same value. So you've got 3 of them here. The solver must determine the value, and not all dots are given. So, for example, the difference might be 3. If we work that out, then the difference here is 3, the difference here is 3. It could be 1, it could be all the way up to 5, difference between 6 and 1. Normal thermal rules apply. You can see we have a number of thermometers in gray, and we essentially have the bulb bend, meaning that we have to increase from this cell and follow this thermal along, increasing along it like a thermometer would. Lastly, we have a normal 6x6 German whispers rules apply. So cells adjacent on the green line differ by 3 or more. And 3 is clearly very deliberate. We're going to end up essentially with a high digit, 1 of 4, 5, or 6. And the cell next to it will be a low digit, 1, 2, or 3. Now, because a 6x6 grid is even, we don't actually have a gap in today's German whisper rules. So we can actually place 3s and 4s on here. They're probably just going to be restricted like 4s and 6s on normal German whisper lines. So that's all the rules we have for today. Let's get started with puzzle 1. If you want to play along, there will be a link in the description down below for all 3 puzzles. As always, I enormously enjoy reading your comments. I hope you enjoy the puzzles that we have featured today, and let me know. With that said, let's restart the clock and start with puzzle 1. Now, I'm immediately drawn to this diagonal, and I deliberately said in the rules, these cannot be all 1, because that would force a diagonal stripe of 3 to be repeated. At the same time, if this is not all 1s, and you sum these up, this is already at 5, this can only be from 5 or 6. And I think it actually has to be 6 because we know this can't be all 1s. We have to place at a maximum of 1, 2 on this line. So I think the 2 has to go here to essentially break the sequence of 3 on either side of this diagonal. And this places a 6 in here, and we're already off to a start. We've got digits in under the first minute, which is essentially a first, I think, for this channel. So let's have a look at this one here. This is basically saying it's not 1 or 2. It could be 6. Same here. Could be 1 or 2. Could be a lot of digits. Actually, before I get onto this one, let's just take a look at these two. We know these two are different. I'm going to go with green and yellow for now. We don't know what color they are, and we don't know if green or yellow is a 6 just yet. What we do know, though, is this cell is different because it sees purple, blue, green, and yellow. So this is another color, orange for the sake of argument. I'm really taking a bit of a pause there. I'm actually thinking maybe I should just complete the 1s with sort of normal rules. So, you can take a look at this row. Where does the 1 go? Well, it's not here. We just said it's not there. The 2's occupied this cell. Not there, not there. This is the 1. And we need one more 1 in the grid in this column, and it can only go here. So these 2 are 1s. Now, the reason I took this diversion is these 2 cells, you see, the minimum they can be is a double 2. But a double 2 is not allowed because that would create a series of 3. So this has to be joined with either a 2 with 1 or 3 or 4. It can't be 3 or 4. We actually have to have a 2 because 3 or 4 would add up to 7. And this is now 5 or 6. And I'm guessing the same logic applies here. No ones. 3 and 4 would be too high. We need to have a 2. And it's either 2, 3, or 4. And it's different. So this cell is red. Because, it sees this orange cell. So the maximum these can be is, so it's essentially either 5 or 6. It's either a 2, 3 or a 2, 4 pair. And it's a different set. So there's a 2 for sure in either of them. And that's 5, 6. That's now 3, 4 to complete the row. Not very useful. Now what's interesting is, why did I pick? So I know orange is not green. Is red, but I've actually picked another color. I'm going to remove that for a second. Hold that thought. Because I'm not sure it has to be. Why can't it be? It can't be yellow. That's correct, because it would have created a triplet again. And it can't be green. It would create a triplet. So yeah, it's not purple. It's not blue. It's not green. It's not yellow. It's not orange. It is different. It is red. Therefore, this is one of orange or red. And these are greens or yellow. So these digits are from 3 and 4. And whatever this digit is essentially in neither of these two cells. We just don't know which one it is yet. 2, 3, 4. That's not 6. We need a 6 in this column. This is the 6. That's therefore the 5. That has to be from 2 and 4. Whichever one is the 4, that means this is not a 4. This is a 3. This 4, therefore this is the 4. 4 sees that in here. That's the 2. That's the 4. That's the 3. That's the 4. These are from 2, 3. And do we know the order yet? Yes, we do, because of these two. Oh, that's genius. 2, 3. That's yellow. And that's green. Yellow, blue. Don't know if I need to keep coloring. This is probably slowing me down. I always enjoy a bit of coloring. So we need a 5 in here. What else? I think it's just almost normal Sudoku rules at this point. So what else do we need in this column? We need 2, 5, and 6. Can't. Well, I mean, this is the 2. 5 and 6 are somewhere in here. We don't know which yet. We need 5 and 6 in here as well. We don't know which one yet. We need 3 and 4. We do know these, thankfully. That's a 4. That's a 3. We need 5 and 6 again. I'm hoping something's going to help us disambiguate all of these at the end. We need a 2 and a 5, 6. It's not obvious what it is. That's a 4. That's the 2. Therefore, this is the 2. This is the 5. This is the 6. This is the 5. This is the 3 and the 6. Now, we have to look for some sort of triplet. And there it is. That has to be a 6 to not break the puzzle, or the rules in this puzzle. And that's the solution for puzzle 1. 6 minutes 46. I mean, I love the fact that you really needed to use triplets. The no diagonal stripe of 3 repeated digits is allowed constantly to make progress in this puzzle, but it really does guide you along. When you get stuck, look for that rule. And that's the solution to puzzle 1. So on to puzzle 2 it is. What do we have next? We have Doots. Let's bring that window up. Right, restart the clock again here. So I'm tempted to color once again. These will be purple. This will be green, blue. This cell sees both of them. This will be green. This cell sees both of them. This will be yellow. This cell sees all four, so this will be orange, and therefore this will be red. We've done a whole bunch of coloring now. So this is either yellow or orange. It is clearly not yellow. That's orange, that's yellow. These two are yellow now. This is orange, and we have colored all the sum lines. We can probably continue coloring for a second. It's just I don't know if we know enough necessarily. Yeah, we're just, I mean, that's blue. I'm just taking a look around what's obvious. So blue is in neither of these two cells. That is blue. Blue is already removed from here, so that is blue. That's blue. That's all the blues done. Can we do anything else like that? Yellows we can in here. Yellow, green, green, red, red. Need orange and something else. Orange is here, purple is here, red is there, purple is there, purple is here, red is here, green is there, green is there, orange is here. So we have a very colorful grid in front of us. At least we need to figure out what the digits are. And we're going to have to use the crop key dots and doots to basically figure this out. So I'm starting here because I'm being a 6x6 Sudoku. We don't have 8. So if you think about it, one of these is from 1, 2, or 4 with a 2 in it. The other one is going to have to be 3 or 6. Because normally you can have 1, 2, 4, 8. You don't, if you have two crop key dots, two black crop key dots in a row or a column, you don't necessarily know that 3, 6 belongs in one of them, but in this case we do because there are no 8s. So one of these definitely has a 2, joint with one of 1 or 4. One of these is definitely 3 or 6. Now on the edges, we definitely have a 5 joint with one of 1 and 4. I'm just going to erase these because I don't actually know the order of these. Should I erase them? No. I'm actually going to unusually pencil them all in. And now I'm taking a look at the other clues. The white crop key dot up here, which is saying that these two are adjacent. So this yellow and this purple have to be adjacent, which means neither of them can be 6 because 5 is not on here. And therefore we have a 6 in one of these. Does that mean one of them have to be a 3? I think that, yeah. So if that's the 6, that's the 3. If that's the 6, that's the 3. So there has to be a 3 in one of them. And for it to be contiguous, it can't be the 1. So it's a 3 joined by one of 2 and 4. And the other one is a 6 without the 3 joined by one of, could it be 1 still? I assume, yeah, if that's 2, if these are 2, 3, nothing stopped us from being 1, 6, based on what we've seen so far. And that's 2, 3, 4 with a 3 in there for sure. And same in here as well. So I'm tempted to look at this next. Let's think about it. So this either sums up to 5, as in 2 and 3, or it sums up to 7, as in 3 and 4. Helpful that they're both odd, meaning that this essentially has to be a double of whatever is in here, because we can't do 2.5 and we cannot do 3.5 as a sum. So this is either summing up to, what was it again, 14, not possible, even if we use 4 and 6, it's only going to get us to 10, or 10, and the only way to do so would be with 4, and 6. And therefore this is from 2 or 3. 2, 3. These are not 4s. Therefore these are not 2s. It is a 4, 6 pair, so we don't have 1s in here. The 1 joins the 5 on the outside. So I think we now have to look at this dude here to try and figure out which one is the 6 and which one is the 4. So let's just fill this in for a moment with what it is. That's 2, 3. So we have the smallest this can be is 6. So the options for summing this side is 6, 7, 8, 9. That's too many options. No, that's not true. We can't do 9. You see, if this is 6 and 3, that's saying that 6 and 3 are here. Well, what would join it on the black crocky dot if it's not a 3? So if this is 6, this cannot be a 3. Now the question is, if this is 4, can this be the 2? If that's the 4, yeah, that can't be the 2. So it's either 4, 3 or 6, 2. 4, 3 or 6, 2. So it's only 7 or 8 is the option in here. And on this side, the 4, clearly 4 and 1, that's 5, that's too far away. 4 and 5, that's 9, that's possible. So that could be 4, 1, 6, 2. Sorry, 4, 5, 6, 2, because that would be 9, that would be 8. That works. So 9 here is an option. Now 6, 1, that would make a 7. And then to make an 8, we need to use the 2 again, which is not, sorry, the 6 again, which is not possible. So 6, 1 doesn't work. 6, 5 definitely doesn't work because that's 11. That's nowhere near these. So, I mean, before I remove that, I think the answer is this actually has to be 4, 5, 6, 2. And actually, nothing else will do. I just want to double check. If this is 6, 1, this would have to be 4. This cannot be a 2, we said. Yes, because they're being separate black crocky cells, and that doesn't work. So it's 4, 3, which is 7. 6 and 1 is 7. So yeah, that doesn't work. So the only option we have is 4, 5, 6, 2. And that probably tells us everything we need now. So that's 6, that's 3, that's 2, that's 4, that's 5, and that's 1. And we know all the colors now. So 5s, 2s, 4s, 6s, 1s, and 3s. Superb. Loved it. Thank you very much, Sandra and Nala. That was again another phenomenal puzzle. Yeah, you just basically had to color it and then use the series. I don't think there's any way you could have done it in a different order, starting with these black crocky dots, the doot, the white dot, and then the white crocky dot. That's fantastic. Right, puzzle 3 now. Fighting chance of doing it in 30 minutes. Again, famous last words. Let's take a look at Pocket Aquatic Marmalade by Heliopolix. So first thing that I'm tempted by is just this giant thermal, which is 5 cells long. Whilst not forced, it is essentially heavily constrained, is all I'm going to say. Now, what I'm going to do as usual is continue coloring in my normal style. And then think about this for a second. So German Whispers line here is probably going to help us. And this is low, therefore this is high, this is low. So this is from 1, 2, or 3. Now, if you take a look up on the column, these can't be lows because we'd end up with 4 lows in the column. So this is from 4, 5, and 6, and this is 1, 2, or 3. I said when I was explaining the rules that 3 and 4 are heavily restricted because if you put a 3 in here, to be 3 away, that would require a double 6. So 3 is not an option. And presumably the same goes here. This has to be 5 or 6. If it's 4, this would require a double 1. They can be 4. Nothing says 4, 1, 5 is a problem. So we've got 2 small digits. We don't know what that is just yet. We don't know the polarity of these. No. Let's see if this, it's a much shorter thermal. It's only 1 cell shorter, but you can see it already just gives us so many options I'm not particularly happy about. Now, what's interesting, though, is we haven't placed 1 or 2 anywhere in column 4. So these 2 cells have to be from 1 or 2, forcing this to be a 5, 6. So German whispers, one of these is clearly a 2. Adding a 3 onto it means 4 is not an option. So this is from 5 or 6, and 5 and 6 are taken in the row now. Now, continuing with this, so this has to be a high digit, so that's from 4, 5, or 6. That's low, 1, 2, or 3. That's high, 4, 5, or 6. And that's low, 1, 2, or 3. I'm wondering, actually, if color coding it like this was a bad idea. Maybe I should have started with lows and highs, because we know we're going to need 3 of each in every box. Let's think about this a bit further. Really feels like this is so heavily constrained that we should be able to figure out what they are. I just don't know if it's possible yet. Right, so we've completed 2 of the orange dots. And based on this, the difference is either, it can be a difference of 2, 3, or 4. So this could be 3, 5 for the minimum, a difference of 2, or 2, 6 for the maximum, a difference of 4. And there's obviously options for a difference of 3. So 2, 3, or 4 means that the minimum this can be is 3, and the maximum this can be is 5. No, 6. I said it can be 2, 3, or 4. Because if it's 4, no, it can't be 4. Because then I would put 2 here, 6 there. Well, 1, 5, that works. But I think regardless, what we cannot have, if it is a difference of 4, this can't be a 6, because that would be a 2, and this would be a 1, and that can only get us to 5. I'm fairly sure this cannot get to 6. I think that also makes logical sense, because this is 1 cell smaller, so whatever it is that it takes to get up to 6 on this cell is smaller, and therefore it will only get up to 5. It's on the thermal. So yeah, that's correct. Now I'm taking a look at the 1, 2, and I'm thinking these 2 digits, you'd be tempted to think that they have to be the same, but that's not true. Because we don't know if these 2 cells are the same just yet. Because, this could be 1, this could be 2, or actually other way around, given the difference. This could be 2, this could be 1, and then these options are entirely valid. Feels like the only way to make progress from here is a bit of coloring, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because it's not obvious what the colors are. So let's think about... The problem is we don't know what red is. Is it a low digit or a high digit? I think that's the question we need to try and answer first. I'm being very quiet at the moment because I'm just trying to think through how do I make the next break in the puzzle, and it's just not obvious at all to me. I mean, is this definitely purple? I mean, it's purple or red. Right, so 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, we really do need to know what red is to be able to make any decent progress in coloring. Well, we know green is not in here. Green has to be there. Therefore, this is from 3 or 4, which delightfully is ambiguous in that it's either low or high, so we don't actually know which one it is, and therefore doesn't really force anything on us. Right. Maybe there's a very obvious step, and this is the point where you guys are screaming at me, you know, look at where your mouse is hovering. Just eliminated that option, that was all. Let's see if I can actually make some progress here. So we know purple is one of these two cells. I am gonna start using flashes. Not my favorite though. Here is something. Right, let's try a scenario. Let's say that this is 3. Yeah, that's correct. If this is 3, this would be 2, this would be 1. And now we need 3 high digits, including 2 high digits on this German whispers line, which obviously cannot be true. So this cannot be 3. That's 4, 5, 6 now. Green has to be 3. Brilliant. Therefore, 1 and 2 have to be purple and blue. So that's purple, that's blue, that's not purple anymore. And this is red and yellow. You'd be tempted to think that's yellow just because the numbers match and that's red, but we don't know that yet. What we do know, though, is blue has to be 2 and purple is 1. And that is progress. That is definitely progress. Quick tidy up of our pencil marks. That's 2, that can't be 4. This has to be the 4. Don't know the color yet, actually. Don't be so quick to remove anything. That's also not 3. That is a 5. That's a 6. Brilliant. Right, so that means we actually know the differences on the orange dots. So that is 6. That is 6. That is 5. Therefore, that has to be 4. And 6 is red. And we actually know the colors of everything now. And therefore, this has to be 4. Pardon me, 4. Removes an option, a degree of freedom from this. We know this is clearly the 5. Therefore, this cannot be a 3. It's not 3 away from 5. That's 1. That's 3. That's 2. I think we have solved this puzzle. Neither of these can be 4, so that's a 5-6 pair. Therefore, this is the 4. Could have done that with Sudoku as well. That's 3. We need 1 and 4. Well, let's do the easy ones first. That's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 2, that's 3, that's 1, that's 6. 1 and 4 still an option. That's okay. Let's take a look at that. Well, that's the one that will resolve this side. We need a 3 in here. We need a 4, 5. This has to be low. It's 2 and 6 to complete the puzzle. I don't think my time was 40 minutes. I probably forgot to restart the clock on this puzzle, but yeah, it's definitely a more complicated one compared to the other 3. A lot more involved, having to essentially figuring out what the colors are, using the German whispers line, the orange dots. You really had to basically think through all of them simultaneously to try and make progress in this puzzle. But what a puzzle it was. So that's all we have for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's puzzles. As usual, let me know how you got on and with them in the comments down below. I really do immensely enjoy reading them and hope to see you back for the next video. Bye for now.